Hello, everyone. Welcome to Classtime's live stream. Today, we have a very special guest with us to have a conversation about using technology for classroom management. We are going to be discussing how tech can help teachers manage their classrooms, especially in a hybrid classroom environment. We're joined today by educator MacKenzie Ann. So let's add MacKenzie here to the live stream.
Hi,
Hi,
MacKenzie. Well,
MacKenzie.
Hi.
And I'm
thank
also
you
with
so
Brooke
much.
as well.
Yes. Thank you so much for being with us, MacKenzie. Maybe you can start off by sharing with everyone a little bit about you as an educator.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. So I'm MacKenzie. I'm a fifth grade teacher in California. This is 7th year of teaching and my 5th year teaching 5th grade. I've also taught 2nd and 3rd, so a lot of elementary world. I also have a YouTube channel, Teacher FYI, where I share a lot of tech tips for teachers. So a lot of my content focuses on helping educators and learning how to integrate technology into the classroom. And so I really started that when really the whole world went into this distance learning environment, and we as educators really had to reimagine how we're going to take our classrooms in person and really bring that same community online. And so I just love thinking of fun and engaging ways to really motivate my students and help teachers integrate that technology.
Amazing. Okay, so we have another question for you already. So, what are the biggest challenges managing a classroom in a virtual setup?
Yeah, so given that I know many teachers are now back in the classroom, we still face that possibility of all these unknowns and possibly going remote or having to teach in a hybrid setting. And I think if we've learned anything, it's that being prepared is so critical during this time of really facing those unknowns and those challenges. And so when we face that challenge of having to go online and thinking about how we're going to manage our classroom and have those right tools and activities ready to go could be really intimidating. And so one way that I've really tried to get around those unknowns and challenges that we were facing, on top of all of our other responsibilities as teachers, was thinking about how to structure my classroom so that we could really make that transition if we needed to from in person to hybrid or to virtual and as smooth as possible for our students and teachers. And so one way to do that is to really think about choosing those right tech tools to teach our students, and so that they learn those right away and setting those expectations right away with the students so that they're familiar with that technology. That way, if we are faced with going online or however our students are learning, they'll just be a lot more prepared. And it makes it a lot smoother when, for example, our students already know how to use Google Classroom because we've set those expectations early on. And then we can transition no matter how we're learning, they'll already be familiar with those tools. So really, that's something I've noticed this year is that I was very purposeful in choosing technology to introduce to my students that they could really carry on in any setting that they're learning.
Awesome. So whether you're in person or you are hybrid, what are your top tips to help educators manage their classroom?
I think the first is to keep it simple when introducing technology. So thinking about being very purposeful in what technology you want to start with. So for example, a lot of times that's choosing like your learning management system. Like, is that going to be Google Classroom? And then really becoming familiar with that as a teacher, and then making sure that your students are really familiar with it before introducing the next piece of technology. And then whenever you're introducing that new website or game online to your students, is to really establish those expectations and norms, just like you would when introducing anything to them. And I always recommend creating those expectations together as a class because so that they really feel that community that is so important to establish in your classroom. And then another tip I have is when choosing the technology you use is to really focus on tools that leverage collaboration, especially in that online, if you're teaching virtually or hybrid. Like, how are we going to get our students to actually work together still and actually get those opportunities to communicate or work towards that common goal, which is something that I really love about like the Classtime collaborative challenges, is getting students to still have that chance to work together. And then finally, which kind of falls along with Classtime and using gamification, is finding tools that will engage them, because we want our students to stay motivated online and or whatever technology we're using in the classroom. And I think using technology, I mean, that's one of the best things. Like, our students are growing up with so much tech, and of course it comes with finding that balance of tech and outside of the screen too. But really, they're so motivated. They honestly sometimes understand how to access some of these websites and play these games faster than I know me sometimes, like if we're learning a new game. So it can be really motivating for students, especially students that might not always feel successful right away, but they're engaged and they're motivated. And I know, like, using gamification is so engaging, and I've just seen that so be such a successful tool in getting my students excited about learning, which of course is what we want, because then they'll spend that time practicing those skills and growing as learners.
Yes.
Yeah, that's amazing. And keeping in the same page of technology, would be good for you to tell us how actually technology help you with classroom management.
Yeah, I think technology definitely helps, I feel, at like the student level of managing and at the teacher level. So at the student level, when you're introducing those tools to them, it can a lot of times helps with just like the organization of like students having the consistency of knowing, oh, this is where I go onto this website, or to get my classwork or see my grade. And also it helps manage the class because students are engaged, and they get those opportunities to work together, and it promotes this self-directed learning for students. And as a teacher, like when you're planning, it gives that chance for us to differentiate our instruction. That's I feel one of the hardest parts about teaching, is trying to meet all of your learners where they're at, and using technology really gives students a chance to make more choice in their learning, and research where they're at and find the interest, research like maybe something that they're personally interested in, or practice at their level. And then at the teacher level, really using it for being able to schedule assignments ahead, or find ways to engage your students, even using assessment. Like, honestly, grading can take so much time, and I know so much technology has helped me just save time in checking for understanding. Again, with websites like Classtime, where you immediately see how your students did on an assessment, is really helpful, where I didn't have to individually take that time to grade each individual exit ticket. It really just shows me right there, oh, these students I'm going to need to meet with tomorrow to revisit that skill. And so all of those little pieces really, in the end, make, I know, my life a little bit easier, save some time, and keep things more organized that way.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. So you've had the chance to use Classtime a little bit. You've mentioned Classtime a bit already in our conversation, but maybe you can expand on some more specific ways that you felt Classtime has helped you with classroom management.
Yeah, so right away, it was really easy to set up my students. I know I've touched on Google Classroom a lot, but that is what I use with my class. And so I am self-contained, so I have my same students all day long. And it was really easy to just import them into Classtime, so that links could easily be shared for my students when they get on. And I what I did like about it is it does link like all your Google Classrooms if you have more than one. So I know that would be really helpful if a teacher is teaching multiple periods or multiple sections of a class, so they can still have all their data and students separately. And then it was really easy to adapt my instruction to create the question sets. So I chose to create my own question sets, but there is a whole library, which can be a real time saver too. But I wanted my students to specifically practice, like right now we're practicing rounding decimals. And so really quickly, I was able to just put together like a question set of 10 questions. My students were able to get on really easily. And then we've been focusing on using the collaborative challenges, which was really fun. What I really appreciate about Classtime for the collaborative challenges is that there's not like one winner. Like we're all working towards this common goal. And so that was really, really exciting to see in my students, because they were motivated to help each other and really get to, in this case, it was like building the roller coaster, or they really liked the puzzle ones. We did a couple of the puzzles where they were trying to figure out what the picture was. And so it was really, I really love seeing them actually want to come together and like help each other, rather than just have like one winner, which can honestly sometimes some of my kids get a little bummed out when they don't win. So it was nice having that celebration with the whole class. And then there's also, and then as they're playing, I already kind of touched on this, but it was really nice because you can see exactly how each student's doing, which again was very clear to me which students I'd have to meet with in a small group later on, which students were definitely getting it right away. And of course, my students were really engaged the whole time, which when they're happy, I'm happy.
That's awesome. Yeah. So good to hear that your students enjoyed using Classtime, especially those collaborative challenges. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for introducing it.
Of course.
Yeah, no. That's the absolutely goal of collaborative challenge, right? Is to be collaborative, is to bring the class together and not really create, right? I don't know. Just split up into teams over there, but they are still working together, which is amazing. So thank you. I think that's all the questions we had for MacKenzie today, right, Brooke?
Yes.
But before we go to our social highlights and to thank MacKenzie for joining us, we would like to invite everyone that is watching this on YouTube to click in the link in the description in the box below for 4 free months of free premium. So with that, you can try all the classroom management features that we were talking here. You can try as well collaborative challenge in the premium, and our other classroom management features like classes, Google Classroom integration, that we have a full integration, and as well advanced session settings like session timers, session scheduler. So it's super worth it. You have 4 months to try it for free, and I'm sure you will love it. So please click in the link below.
Yes. And then lastly, before we go, we want to mention our social highlights. This week is our Follow Friday with MacKenzie. So MacKenzie shared with us her top tips for classroom management. So definitely go and check this out and share your top tips, what you do to make sure that you manage your classroom and make it easier for you. And then if you are on Twitter, make sure to join our community. We're actually posting a giveaway today, and we don't want you to miss out on that. So definitely join us over on Twitter.
Yes, it's here, or Twitter, if you guys wanna find us. So thank you. We wanna first thank you, MacKenzie, so much for joining us, for your time. It was amazing learning more about your classroom management tips, and we really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. And don't forget to check out MacKenzie's channel. She has so many great videos. So definitely subscribe to her channel. The link will be in our description box below. And of course, subscribe here to Classtime for more live streams coming your way soon.
Yes. So it's all for today, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, MacKenzie. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.